Good day, Fayette County, and welcome back to Fayette Centric. This is episode number 5, and we are highlighting and showcasing the people and places, the happenings and events that make Fayette County a very special place. Today, we have new sponsors to announce. The first one is Bright Stripes for all your seal coating and line striping needs. They were voted number 1 in Fayette County for 3 years in a row. The second one is the Trippy Hippie Brewing Company, and they are located in Connellsville, soon to be located in Connellsville. They closed their loan yesterday. So that's coming soon. And they are also the host of the event called Tube de Ville, and that's August 1st in Connellsville. And that is, we're going to set the Guinness Book of World Records record for the most tubers in or rafters in a stream or a river. And so over 1,000 people are already committed to coming, and that will vastly break that record. So, but if you're interested, go to the Trippy Hippie Brewing Company's Facebook page for more details, or to sponsor or volunteer as well. And then the OG of Fayette Centric sponsors, Ford of Uniontown. Go see my friends up on the hill if you're if you need a new or used vehicle. And I am very pleased, and it's very easy for me to plug them because I'm also a customer of theirs for the sales and service. So before they were a sponsor, I was their customer. I drive a Ford from Ford of Uniontown. So today we have, for episode number 5, a friend of mine that we met in 2019, Terry Vassar, the president and executive director of One Voice, One Community. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
So I just wanted to tell a story. I always tell the story of how we met.
Right.
And it was the 2019, I was running for commissioner. I wasn't commissioner yet. And I was campaigning at the Italian Festival and had a space on Main Street. And this guy walks up to me and he looks up at the picture, which was obviously some glossy picture that didn't really look like me at this point. And he looks down at me, and he looked back up, and he looked back down, and he didn't even say anything. He just went, "Is that you?" And I went, "Yeah, that's me." And so we kind of formed a friendship right after that. For sure. And we've been kind of working together on things important to Fayette County.
Most definitely.
Yours from your side and me from my side. So welcome to Fayette Centric. So before we get started into the One Voice, give a little of your background.
My background, wow. So I am from Fayette County originally, born and raised. Of course, I left and came back. I think I moved back here probably, I want to say 2010. I moved back this way, and I've been here ever since collectively. And like I've said, I was born in Brownsville, Pennsylvania, went to Brownsville area high school, did a lot of crazy things as a child, got in some trouble and then turned my life around and just want to try to help everybody I can.
Good. I always say there's 2 villes in Fayette County, and each of them claim the ville, Brownsville and Connellsville. So
it would definitely be Brownsville.
Oh, okay. I hear you. So One Voice, One Community, after school program.
Yeah.
I know how many kids you have now.
60 enrolled.
60 enrolled.
Yes, sir.
So give us a little bit of what it's like at One Voice, One Community for the programs that you have for these kids.
So kids come from Uniontown school districts. We do have some LH kids there as well. The bus brings them in. They usually get in about 2:30. They eat. We feed them every day, and then they go into an activity for about a half an hour or so. And then after that, they start going into different classrooms. Like, for instance, PNC teaches our financial literacy. We have 4-H. They come in. They were actually teaching this last semester gardening. We have a full culinary kitchen on site that we're going to really have the kids actually start cooking in the fall. Pennsylvania State Police, Heritage Affairs, Corporal Allen comes in to teach law enforcement. The prison was coming in teaching corrections. The WVU medicine comes in teaches healthcare. So we got a pretty great. We have a great community that comes in and try to help the kids, and the kids actually get tutored as well. We have podcasting, spoken word. There's a lot of different things that we actually incorporate, and the kids are enjoying it. 6th through 9th grade, the kids are there. We do basically workforce development for youth. So we try to gear kids to go into a certain direction in life that they would be all ready to get into the workforce and actually at least get some interest in certain things that they can look beyond their situation or circumstance. Or just, when I was a child, it was about going on field trips. We brought the world to them. So, and the community have bought into it, and it's been great. It's going on be 4 years. It's 3 years, but we're going into the 4th year in the fall.
So I always tell people, my upbringing in Uniontown was, I was a good student, average student.
Right.
But the one thing I didn't realize is what was available to me. And so, I didn't pay attention to the guidance counselors at school.
I didn't either.
And then, nobody in my family at that time, you got to think about, the early 80s, my brothers already had their jobs that, they kept for many years, their career jobs. My sister worked at Uniontown Hospital, and nobody had gone to college. And so, not only was it a foreign concept to me, but it was a foreign concept to my family. So I had nobody really to look up to go, what am I supposed to do now? And because, from the time that my brothers were a certain age, again, they had their jobs. By the time I graduated high school, they had these jobs and they were married and had kids. And, here I am coming up later in their life, and I just didn't have that model to look at, or anybody to help inspire me to, hey, here are your possibilities.
Right.
And I didn't have that, and so I'm very happy where I ended up. I think I ended up okay, but it was a struggle to that there were a few years of struggle there to figure that out.
Right. Like most of us,
Yeah. So, but it's nice that as we try to build higher education here in Fayette County, and we're doing a lot of work on the possibilities at the Fayette campus. But if we don't have the kids to go out there, to matriculate out there and take advantage of the learning that we anticipate being there, so it's always been very important to me to have organizations that are, and the word in DC is navigate, to navigate these children, into these better outcomes. And so that's, the importance of what you're doing.
I appreciate it. It's always been, in my mind's eye, kind of a precursor. We wanted to navigate, as you would say, kids to CTI or other opportunities as far as in the workforce that they wouldn't have interest in. I always said I would have been an anesthesiologist if I knew what it was. I didn't know what it was until you get so old. You're like, man, that would be a cool job to have. But it's been very rewarding to see these kids. I've seen them light up. Their grades are, my average, 80% of my kids are on honor roll. So
very good.
We're doing something good, and it's been exciting. It really has.
Yeah. My job was plumber. If I had to go back and do it all over again, I would have. I would have been a plumber, and that started one day when I needed to have some plumbing done at my first house, and I knew nothing about plumbing, and it was a really small job. And I called a plumber, and they're like, I said, "Can you come out and look at a galvanized pipe that had corroded and it needed to be replaced with a copper pipe?" And I'm like, "Hey, will you come out and take a look at this?" And they're like, "No."
No.
And then I called the next guy. Can you tell me how much it would be? And he was like, "It's $55 an hour."
Right.
And I'm like, "Well, how many hours is this?" And he goes, "It's $55 an hour." And I was like, "That's the job I should have tried to get."
Yeah.
And that was $55 an hour was
Back then.
That was in the 90s.
Wow.
So that was 30 years ago. So
It's much more now.
so I hear. But yeah, so the origins of how this started, though, is I'm lucky that I was kind of there at the beginning.
You've been there through the whole thing, yeah.
So I tell a story of before One Voice, One Community. We were trying to figure out what One Voice, One Community was.
Right.
And we took a trip down to Pittsburgh. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
So
Bidwell.
Yeah, so we went to Manchester Bidwell is a after-school program in Pittsburgh in the Manchester neighborhood, owned by a guy who is really credentialed, Dr. Strickland.
Right.
And I think he was 73
at the
time that we went down there. And I mean, if you Google Dr. Strickland, I mean, there's all kind of accolades for this. This guy's really accomplished, right?
He is.
And there's these 3 bumpkins from Fayette County sitting there. And he walks in and he sits down and he says, "Well, you called me."
That's exactly what he said too.
And I went, "Oh, here we go." Like I've never had anybody like just say, and so that we like poured our heart out about poverty in Fayette County and trying to help the kids. And so they agreed to help us. But we were never able to connect. There were a few reasons for that,
Right.
but I don't want to throw them under the
Most
bus
definitely,
at all.
not at all.
But it really showed us
What opportunities or what it could be.
Yeah.
And it kind of ran with it. It's trying to change the mindset. The impoverished mindset, and I really think. This is my first year. This is the 3rd year, so this is my first graduating class. So we've been 3 years in. So the 6th graders that started with us are 9th now, and this is their last year. So it's kind of bittersweet, but we've gained a lot of ground. I've gained a lot of gray hairs in 3 years as well, but it's working.
So one of the things I always tell people, and I probably shouldn't say this on a podcast,
Right.
but I always tell people that like when Terry and I got to know each other, we realized how much we had in common.
Right.
And I just
Most definitely.
I
Go
have
ahead.
better hair though.
You do. Mirrored. Our lives kind of mirror each other.
It really, yeah. I mean, again, coming from completely different backgrounds, our situations with our families were very similar.
Yeah.
The importance of education in Fayette County can't be overlooked. Poverty, there's a direct correlation between poverty and higher education. It's very simple, and the numbers bear this out. The more highly educated you are, the less likely you are to live in poverty.
Correct.
And it's very simple. And then we start talking about poverty. Poverty is that one stat that you can look at to say, if we can solve this, like there's nothing where you can say in Fayette County, if you can solve this one thing, everything else goes away.
Right.
But the closest thing to that is poverty. And because poverty affects crime and blight, unemployment, the workforce, there's a lot to it. And so if there's one magic wand that I could wave in Fayette County, it would be that, that we would not be the 7th most impoverished county in the state of Pennsylvania.
We're going up.
We are getting better.
We're getting better.
But there's still a lot of work to do.
Yes.
And again, going back to that's the importance to me of your program, the program in Brownsville Verticals,
Right.
East Indian United Community Center. We're trying to get these kids to see another way out of this. So
Yeah, 'cause we do workforce development. We're OVR certified, vocational, we're PAC certified. So we actually take the kids in and do training on job specifics. We go to the hospital and they actually shadow in the actual hospital, change linens, and go into the dietary. So it's a very forward program. I've been very blessed to be able to be a part of it, to be able to see a child's light bulb come on, and to be able to see that they have hope. Because the reason I kind of always wanted to do something like this, because I'm not going to say I was a troubled youth. My dad was a miner. I was a middle class family. My mother was actually a nanny for Caucasian families. I don't know if you remember Bob Cusba. She
Yeah.
was actually their nanny. So but I was kind of like, and I was adopted. So I didn't think they could relate to me because they were older. My dad worked at Robina Mine, and I kind of drifted into the streets and started doing things that I shouldn't have done. And then I got a little off. So I just wanted to be able to help these children that I've had felonies, that there's no ceiling in life. You're not a victim. You're not a victim in life at all. There's no way that you're a victim. You create your own circumstances, and nobody's ever held me back. The man, I've never met the invisible man that they always say the man's holding you back, but I was the only person that held me back. So when I'm communicating with these children and they try to talk fast or just try to sway you I've lived it, so you're not going to pull any wool over my eyes. But I reiterate into every child that you can do anything. You can literally turn your life around completely and totally at any time, and Fayette County is the best place to do it in. And that's why I wanted to bring all the community in, because as they get older, I want them to see that you can be successful here. There's so many successful people in Fayette County that I've met probably over the last 4 years that you don't have to move. I wanted to see retention, that they learn job skills and stay here in the community to drive the economy up. And I think we're on to something, and I'm going to stand on the wall until it's complete. So it's been good.
Fayette County is a really unique place.
It is.
And we had
It is.
I call them, you have the flannel business owners. The business owners that they're not in a suit and a tie. They're in jeans and flannels and work boots.
Right.
And I remember my son was over we were setting up a tent at the Fayette County Fair, and I'd forgotten the hammer. And I said, hey, see that guy over by that truck? Go tell him the commissioner needs a hammer. So he ran over there, got the hammer, and we pounded in the stakes. I said, okay, go ahead and return it. And he returned it. And I came back, and I said, this is a very important moment for you, my son.
Right.
Because that guy has more money than just about anybody else in Fayette County. And he was like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And it doesn't matter. There are so many ways
Yes.
of creating wealth and owning businesses that it doesn't have to be, again, the guy in the three-piece suit that you're thinking of. So we had an event in Pittsburgh with the Pittsburgh Business Exchange, and it was a president's event. They wanted the presidents of companies to come to be at this event. And so they asked me to bring presidents of our companies.
Right.
And I said, hey, just so you know, we're going to look a little different than their corporate types down there in Pittsburgh. And we did, but we did great. And it's they all have the same mindset of hey, I'm that driven. I'm driven to make my company a better place to work, and to create for Fayette County.
Right.
And so it was a very cool event.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
So I want to take a break from all the heavy talk.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is, if you've watched my podcast, you know my secret question already, and I'm going to have to develop another secret question apparently. And I'm going to ask it to you. What's the most Fayette County thing that you've ever done? And before, so nobody answers this question on the first answer. So I want to tell you what happened to me in Pittsburgh. Okay. I'm in an interview and they're talking about economic development, and I'm like, economic development, Fayette County, I got this. Like, right. This is like, I'm not preparing for this. I'm good, And the lady interviewing me says, and again, it was in Pittsburgh. It was a meeting about Pittsburgh, and she said, "What's the most Pittsburgh thing you've ever done?" And I just drew a blank.
Did you?
And I was like, oh. And so everybody I've asked this to, they've gone, oh. So this is your time now.
Okay.
I've given you a couple seconds to think about the answer. But so I gave an answer, and it was really lame. It was like, oh, we went to Steeler games or something like that, like, or we root for the Penguins. And then I'm walking out, and I'm like, no, I have, because I actually lived in downtown Pittsburgh for a year and a half, and I have a bunch of stories from living in Pittsburgh, and like some of the crazy things that we did, because I was like 18 or 19 years old, So, but I didn't give a good answer, so
you didn't.
I was really bummed out. So, what's the most Fayette County thing that you've ever done?
The most Fayette County thing
that can be said, because this is.
Well, I mean, I used to always swim in the river in Brownsville on the lock wall because we didn't have pools. I mean, I didn't have a pool. Right. I mean, some people may have had a pool, but I used to we had to go down and swim in the creek and different thing, and I got challenged to jump in the Mon without any clothes on. So that's probably the most Fayette County thing that I can say I've done. And then I went fishing. I actually went trout fishing.
Did you have
right
clothes
after.
on when you
I
went
did.
Fishing?
Because you might get bit. You might get bit, and I didn't think about it when I was jumping in because I was jumping in and out. But yeah, you're right. That's probably it.
I don't think anybody... Rick, nobody's going to top that story, right?
I mean,
I can retire that question today. Yeah.
It's done. It's put a nail in it. That's it.
So, are you interested in tubing down at the Tube DeVille?
I didn't even know about Tube DeVille.
Yeah, you can sign up online. Trippy Hippie
with 1,000 people tubing down.
Yeah, so they're going to put you in 20 at a time. You have to be all hooked up.
20 people in one tube?
No, 20 people. Yeah, everybody has their own tube, and you get a free tube and
a
T-shirt.
They're locking you in.
And you have to stay locked in to everybody. It has to be one continuous, loop of 1,000.
How far are we going?
I think from one bridge to the third bridge in Connellsville. I think that's all it will take.
What's the date?
August 1st. Yeah, come
that
check it out.
Sounds fun.
Check it out. Yeah, free tube, free T-shirt.
Okay.
Bring the missus.
I'll definitely do that.
Okay, very cool.
Definitely do that.
And I always tell the story of, one of my sayings is, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And it's how you finish. And, there's where you start, and then there's this journey to try to get to where you want to be. And it's how you finish that journey. It's either you accomplish it or, but to hear the things that you just said, to me, it was very inspiring.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you are a ordained minister as well.
I am.
Okay. Tell us about your endeavors in the ministry then.
Well, I mean, I do a podcast every Wednesday called Rise and Shine. I've been doing it for 5 years. First year I did it 5 days a week. I wouldn't even know what I was going to talk about. I'd just get up and pray and say, okay, let's go. And then God would give me an origin or a word, and I'd just build off that one word for about a half an hour. Did that, and then First year was 5 days a week, went to 4, 3, and I'm doing it 1 day a week right now.
Yes.
So it's been pretty good, and I mean, I do that, and then the kids are my ministry. That's truly my mission. It's been, to be able to see these kids and these dispositions that different ones have, and to be able to give them hope. Mm-hmm. That's all I need in my days, to be able, like, they'll run by and I'll start crying. I mean, just because it's so surreal, that they have a safe place, and it's been kind of cool. So I would say this is my full-time ministry, is OBOC.
Yeah. So the future of, what's the future look like? I mean, you got 60 kids now. Is the demand there for more kids?
For sure. I mean, the goal is very, I always see myself on a campus, my own campus, that I would have my own campus in different quadrants of doing different things under sports. And I always wanted my own athletic director that people would call from other schools, and I'll go all the way up to 11th grade, and they know if they're getting a kid from OBOC, they know that they're getting the best of the best. Right. And so the vision's much larger. We should be getting our clinical license and be deemed as a wellness center here in the very near future. I'm a big dreamer, so I can't even see how big, but my goal is to get the Nobel Peace Prize. That's my personal goal as a person on the earth. I'm gonna walk across that stage. My staff thinks I'm crazy, but that's the goal, is to have one in every community, just like a YMCA, because every community has the same issues. And when we did go into a meeting, we identified what communities were missing was God, family, and parenting, and that's what it was built on. It was God, family, and parenting, and I want to put that back in everybody's community. So.
Yeah, so back in probably 2020,
21,
when we had a meeting with community leaders, elected leaders, the courts, police officers. There was just a ton of people in this room, and that was back when there had been some shootings in Uniontown, and it was kind of a reaction to that. Unfortunately, it's government is always reactive and very rarely proactive. But the one thing I remember was the lieutenant from the Pennsylvania State Police. Right. Everybody talked. Yeah. We had this long talk, and the lieutenant from the state police said hadn't said a word the entire time. And I went, "Lieutenant, do you have anything to add?" And he goes, "Yes, we've lost God and family." And you're like, "Wait a second!" I was not expecting. I'm expecting a police answer. Right. And he came and basically said, "Yeah, we've lost God and family, and it has to be restored." He said parenting too, yeah. Yeah, and it was It was a surreal moment. Yeah. We identified the problem at that point. Mm-hmm. We were in there about 2 hours. Yeah. You didn't know what we was going to walk into. No, they'd never been in all the dignitaries in one room. Everybody was a little afraid. Everybody was afraid. I got to see the humanity of men. Judges and DAs and no egos. It was an amazing moment. The door shut, and it's like, let's get it all out and open. So that was a seminal moment as far as, that was kind of what spurred our trip to Manchester Bidwell. And then, some of the stats, like I said, you could go back and look at higher education stats in Fayette County. One of the things that, I was always told was, we don't have the demographics in Fayette County for a college campus. And I just would turn that around to say, look, we don't have the college campus in Fayette County that meets the demographics of Fayette County. So, that's kind of one of the things that we're trying to do out at the soon to be closed Penn State campus. We have a plan in front of the Penn State Board of Trustees right now. We are going to try to do a more formal feasibility study to back up our plan, but our plan is good enough that I shouldn't tell the secret sauce here of the plan, but every institution that we have contacted and had talks with is interested in our plan and believes in our plan. We've talked to the head of higher education in the state of Pennsylvania. She's like, "You're on the right path." Like, nobody has said, "Hey, this don't do this. Like, this is really bad." And so, what we're going to end up with on the campus, if our plan is permitted, and part of the plan is we need the property back, and we've asked for it back for $1, and that sounds bold, and it is, but it's because that campus was built on tuition, taxpayer dollars, and philanthropy.
Correct.
It's not called the Eberly campus, out of the kindness of Penn State's heart. Right. There was some philanthropy. The Swimmer building, the Williams building, the Maggie McGurko auditorium. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's reasons why these things are named after them, and so we want the campus back. We believe it's our community's asset to have.
It should be.
So, but we want to focus on. You talked about WVU medicine coming in and teaching
healthcare.
Nursing is going to be the preeminent program at Penn State. I keep calling it Penn State. I don't call it that anymore. At the new Fayette campus.
Understood.
Nursing will still be the preeminent program there. Nursing has really good, high-paying jobs, local jobs.
Correct.
And again, so if we can start keeping some of these kids here that graduate your program, graduate a program out there, get employed here, and still live here, then we start solving the population loss. Right. Because what's happening right now is people are leaving. People aren't getting trained here, so they're leaving for the training, and then they're staying away. They're staying away. But if we can provide that training here and then have jobs here, we have 5 or 6 manufacturers right now who are looking to expand, or in current expansion mode. That's probably 400, 500, 600 jobs, welding jobs in robotics. So that's one of the things that we want to have out at the Fayette campus is to have classes in robotics and things like that. So that's the whole goal. If we can lift people up out of poverty, and but you have to start at a young age. And
you have to get them young. You have to catch them young.
Yeah. So, and if you could get to 11th grade, because 11th grade is kind of where the kid starts to go on college visits.
Well, we're starting in the fall taking the 9th graders on visits.
Okay.
To colleges and different places, just to whet their beak, to let them know what's out there and what's. Yeah. So I want to catch them young and really get them interested. And if they don't go to college, they can get a job and do something technical.
Mm-hmm. Right. Again, go be a plumber.
Right.
That's okay. So we the commissioners actually went to visit the Carpenters Union. So if you're on Parkway West going out toward the airport, Robinson Township, they have that big building up there. Every labor union right now in southwestern Pennsylvania is begging for employees and for people to come to be apprentices and things like that. And so, but then you go there and you find out, I was thinking, well, carpenter, so it's, putting the frames around, they have other things that they do. So if you drive down the road and you see they're going to build a bridge and they have that big form that they're going to, well, the Carpenters Union built that.
Right.
they do the pile driving for that concrete to get all the way down into the ground, down to the bedrock. They do that. They do millwright work, which is more like mechanics work, and you're working on metal. They do all kind of stuff in addition to the flooring and the finished carpentry,
right.
like stuff you do. Like, so they had a whole like industrial commercial side of stuff. Matter of fact, everything that they do is commercial. They don't do residential carpentry at all.
Right.
But to hear them, the plumbers and pipe fitters, steam fitters union, the Union 66, which is laborers union, they're all right now going, hey, we need this. We believe with the energy, the data center, the boom that's going to come to southwestern Pennsylvania, that these construction jobs, everybody thinks that once you build one of these, your construction jobs go away, but they think there's going to be decades worth of construction. And so, there's a lot of...
That's something to look forward to.
Yeah, and it's about, connecting. Sometimes my job is just literally connect people.
Right.
So, at that point when you get, an 11th grade, if you're able to get, a little bit higher, I think, they would be very interested in coming to talk.
As apprentices.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah. So it's a neat program. So, but I was bummed out that, because I was like, because I watch. I'm the lamest dude you've ever seen. I watch like the Woodwright Shop on.
Do you?
Yeah, and it's like, and it's about joining wood and things. Like so I'm literally expecting that.
Right.
And
there's
this
nothing
place
like
was
that.
nothing like that. Yes, it was really cool. They're building the scaffolding and they're showing. They're teaching all kind of classes, and it's a neat concept because it's a 4-year program.
Right.
You only go to school for 4 or 5 weeks out of a year.
Wow.
And the rest of the
is in
time
field.
you're working, and they pay you to go to school.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's a program that we're trying to, and these are all programs that we're trying to incorporate out at the Fayette campus. Like, hey, there's going to be a lot of opportunity here in Fayette County, in southwestern Pennsylvania, because those jobs travel to wherever they are. Homer City, they're building a power plant. There's already 1,000 people on site.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
Just imagine, and then start thinking about the restaurant owners and the hotels. They're going to be packed, and
And everything thrives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's prosper.
Most definitely.
Let's go. But yeah, so the future isn't tied to, for your mindset, it's not tied to a number of kids. It's more tied to
Duplicating the product, what we've created.
yeah.
The site we're at will be capped about 100, but we'll end up looking for a location at that point. But I want to duplicate it and just keep growing it because the concept works. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing the fruit of it. We have the teachers sending us letters. We have principals telling that they can tell that their kids have changed. Truancy has changed, because we do family preservation and truancy as well. So it's been all encumbered. So it's a holistic way of trying to help the kids, because we do have a mental health counselor on site to actually have the kids talk, because kids go through trauma. When I was growing up, we weren't allowed to have opinions or talk or be in a room with adults, but kids need to express themselves. We always compressed all our feelings growing up. That's why, some of us need to talk now, and, but it's all encompassed though.
So is there like one program that the kids kind of gravitate to that they like the best?
Well, we have dancing now, so they're learning how to do Spanish dancing. So that's probably their funnest class right now. So because we will be graduating, the kids will be graduating on the May 21st. My graduating class will be graduating. So they're going to do an ensemble, and they're going to do a Spanish dance. So they like that because she's high energy, and You know, she'll come
Yeah.
in and teach them dancing. But that's probably their favorite right now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I have been there when they have been doing the singing and instruments.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now,
So
now
they're
they're
dancing.
dancing now.
They're dancing now, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I don't have anything else for you. Do you have
I don't.
anything else you want to bring up? Like, I'm never going to look at you the same just so after your answer for
Well,
the skinny dipping
just
answer. So.
be happy that you don't have to see me skinny dipping. but I don't have anything else. But
Well, I appreciate you coming on today, and I appreciate our sponsors, Ford of Uniontown, the Trippy Hippie Brewing Company in Connellsville, and Bright Stripe. And please, if you can, hook them up with some of your business. Thank you for sponsoring. It's been a great
I appreciate it.
great podcast today. I appreciate learning about you and appreciate learning about the importance of one voice, one community. I hope everybody, one more thing, then you are always looking for donations as well.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
You know,
So
go to our Facebook page or our website, ovocpa.org. Anything and everything would help.
yeah. So one of the things that I did learn about you guys is you kind of fall through the cracks on some of the grant funding that's available specifically with the federal government. Your program isn't quite exactly what
not
they
cookie cutter.
envision. It's not right. It's not their cookie cutter.
Right.
So, and I've actually was complained to the Department of Education in D.C. one time. I said, we have programs in Fayette County that we're developing that we want to, help, inspire these kids.
Right.
But it doesn't meet any of your requirements for programming. So,
No, 'cause we're trying to get the kids out of a impoverished mindset.
Right.
We're trying to teach them how to fish.
Right.
So a lot of the programs you want to just
not eat a fish, but catch a fish.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Thank you, man. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Yeah.
Appreciate
It's
it.
always great seeing you.
Most definitely.
This has been One Voice, One Community, episode number 5 with Terry Vassar from One Voice, One Community. And we thank you for tuning in and catch us next week. Thank you.